Yo, what's up? I'm going to show you exactly how to create a cold outreach script. I'm going to give you 10 different frameworks that I've used to book hundreds of appointments per month. This is going to be very in-depth. There's going to be a lot to this. If you've seen my previous video on how to create scripts, this is going to be a lot different than that. I've learned a lot after creating thousands of messages. This is a part of my full free course on how to get appointments in the door. If you don't have access to that, you can look at this link in the description below on how to get that. But we're gonna get right into it. So here's some of my scripts and actions. They actually work. I've actually created thousands of scripts. I've sent tens of thousands of DMs. I've sent hundreds of thousands of emails and hundreds of thousands of text messages, done thousands of calls. Okay, I've done it all, so I know what I'm talking about, and I've worked with over 1,000 clients, just so you know. Cool? All right, so a lot of this is gonna be some crazy stuff that I haven't shared before, so you gotta pay attention, and I would recommend you taking notes just because, again, there's a lot to this, right? So I'm gonna go very, very in depth. I'm going to teach you everything that I know and then give you 10 templates that you can use. Really, it's 11, but 10. And so that you can get appointments starting today. And there's going to be some stuff I want to show you guys real quick. There's going to be some stuff that you're not even going to, no one else is going to be teaching this stuff, right? We're going to be talking about Nuke Town, all right? We're going to be talking, okay? I'm going to be showing you that in a minute and how it relates to cold outreach. But first, we're going to get into the mindset behind cold outreach. Okay, this is the thing that everybody gets wrong, and I don't understand because I try to explain it to you guys every single freaking week, but you get it wrong every single time. So the mindset is, we just want to sound human. That is it. Okay, the entire thing is we don't want to sound like an advertisement. We want to sound like we're coming from a friend. How would you text your mom? How would you text your sister, your brother, your friends, right? How would you text them? Use slang, you use grammar errors, you tell jokes, you make it stand out from the crowd, right? Obviously, you're not going to do that with your friend, but when you sound like a friend, it will stand out from the crowd from everybody else, because I'll show you why, right? This is what everybody else sends. They have an HTML email. Did you file your taxes? Did you miss your tax deadline? 3 steps you can take next, right? As you can see, we filter out really quickly. Why do we filter this out? Why do we say, okay, this is just a spam email? Why do we say that? Well, because this is obviously, everything is capitalized, everything looks perfect. That's what you filter out. You say, if it's perfect, then I don't really need to read this because it's probably something that was sent to tens of thousands of people. So I don't really need to, I'll just filter that out, right? So if it's got like this fancy photo and all these buttons on the email, whatever, no one really takes that seriously anymore, okay? So we have to look different than everybody else that's reaching out to them. We have to, people will determine whether or not you're an ad or a real person very quickly, right? Just by looking at it within a glance, okay? And a way to stand out is obviously to look human, because when another person reaches out to you, right, you feel obligated to respond back because of reciprocity there, right? We don't want to leave somebody hanging. So if you get a message like this, okay, this is a message that an actual client sent me this. I'm sorry to roast you right now, but this message was not very good, and so I want to show you what he got wrong here. So, hey, first name, this is George. I know you don't know me, however, I wanted to reach out. I have a system that can guarantee you 10 pull installs in the next 90 days. If you don't get all 10, you get your money back. Is it okay if I give you a call? Cool. Not bad. I'm going to show you why this sucks. All right. 1, it's too formal. No one ever says however. I've never told my mom, yeah, I can come Friday night. However, right? I've never said that. Cool. 10 sounds a little too round. Now, I said 10. Oh, 10 scripts, right? But I actually have 11. Now, when we're sending it directly to somebody and we want to make it look real, no one ever says, hey, I'll help you lose 50 pounds, right? That sounds like an advertisement. But if I said, I think I have a system to get you 2 or 3 pounds, to lose 2 or 3 pounds a week if you're open to that, right? That sounds a little more realistic when it's like an off number, not 10, 50, 100, something like that, right? Another thing. Adding a guarantee in a cold text only implies that they have to pay something up front. Therefore, it sounds like an ad. I try not to mention a guarantee in the message, or even if it's just you'll get your money back, even that's like a good guarantee or whatever, but I try not to do that because that only implies that there's risk involved because I have to pay you money up front. So theoretically, you're going to give me my money back if this works, right? And I don't even know who you are, and you're saying that within the first message. It sounds a little weird, right? So I'm going to show you what would actually work, what's a little better of a message. Hey, first name, this is George. Sorry for the random message. I just want to see if I can work with you. I've got a system I'm using to get me 6, maybe 7 pull installs in August, and I want to see if I can send some of these leads your way, and we can work on them together. Can I call you in 10 minutes? So here we're saying, can I work with you? It doesn't sound like an advertisement, right? Because we're on the same team. It's not me selling to you, which I'll explain later, but we're on the same team, right? It's not a round number like 10, 50, 100. It's 6, maybe 7. We sound like a friend, right? It's just, hey, I just want to see if I can work with you, And we make it sound a little more specific. We don't have really any personalization other than the first name, which we don't have to have that in there. We just say, hey man, right? That sounds a lot more personal than hello, sir, right? or how lovely day today, right? We don't want to say it like that, right? So we make it sound personalized by just saying August, right? I've got leads coming in August, right? Which is this next month, right? And then we also have a direct call to action, which is, can I call you in 10 minutes, right? Just getting it straight to the direct call to action. Now, depending on where you're sending this message, you want to kind of change the call to action, and I'll get into that in a minute as well. We're going to go over everything in this video, okay? As Gary Halbert says, people sort their mail over the trash can. So what that means is, if you look like an ad, you just throw it in the trash. If it looks like it's a personal letter, like handwritten, then you feel obligated to open it. If it's coming from the IRS, you feel obligated to open it. If it looks like a bill, you feel obligated to open it, right? But if it's like an advertisement, like, hey, you sign up for this new credit card, you throw it immediately into the trash. Cool? So when your mom calls, you feel compelled to pick up the phone. But if the caller ID says scam likely, you don't feel obligated at all. So how do we make them feel obligated? Some things you can do is you can actually send from someone's mom's number. You can actually call somebody. I've done it before. I made a whole video calling people from their son's number, their wife's number. It was crazy, but it worked pretty well. It's funny. You can also send somebody voice notes. I've tried that too. I sent 30 voice notes to people, and I got like 3 booked calls within 30 voice notes. It was very good, right? You can also, when you can do invisible ink on an iPhone. If you don't have an iPhone, you don't understand, but if you don't get it. If you do invisible ink, if someone sends you a message with invisible ink, you're like, oh, wait, what is this, right? You want to open it, you want to read it. Or if it's like a picture. What if someone sent you a picture of you walking outside of your house in invisible ink, and it was from a random phone number, right? And they said, I need to talk to you. You would obviously respond to that. You're like, or if they said, we're the FBI, we need to speak, right? You'd obviously respond. It's it can work really well. Cool? Awesome. So here's how you want to think about all marketing. We want to think about how would we scam somebody, but now let's make it ethical, right? So I'll give you an example. Google Calendar invites. So there is this strategy I used to use, and it worked extremely well, and it was like almost completely free, and it was so good, but Google actually changed the rules because of me and this strategy that I created. So how it worked was, I was on one of those websites like 123 Movie, and I was like watching a movie online, and as you know, when you go on those websites, it'll say like, this was when I was younger, like maybe I was 17, and an ad would pop up saying, hey, join this thing, or you just wanted a free iPhone, right, stuff like that. An ad popped up, but it wasn't really an ad. It just said, would you like to add this to your calendar, yes or no? And I accidentally clicked yes. And so I don't really know what happened, but I went back to my movie. 10 minutes later, I get a message saying, hey, your phone's hacked. I was like, oh, what the heck, all right, who cares? 10 minutes later, I get another message, hey, your phone's hacked, right? Every single 10 minutes, hey, you need to click this link to unlock your phone, all that jazz. I was like, how is this even happening? Turns out, when I accidentally clicked add to the calendar, what happened is it just put a calendar onto my calendar on my Apple phone, like an Apple phone calendar thing. And it added a whole bunch of random events. And so it just synced all these events to my calendar, and all of them just said, your phone is hacked, right? Obviously, your phone's not actually hacked. It's just the calendar events that say that your phone is hacked. It was really annoying because it was like every 10 minutes. And so basically, you just have to remove it from your calendar. So I saw that, and I was like, okay, these scammers are trying to get me to convince that my phone is hacked. They found a way to get on my calendar, which really got my attention because it sends me notifications all the time. How could I do this, but in an ethical way? So when I started doing cold outreach, I realized, okay, well, you can invite someone to your calendar, right? If I can create an event, and then I can invite somebody to that event, and then it automatically shows up on their calendar if I just invite them. So what if I invited 5,000 people to just a random event? So we started doing that, and it actually worked, where we would invite 5,000 people, and like 30 people would just show up to the call and be like, yeah, well, what's it about, And in the event, so we started putting in what the event was about. Like, hey, this is an event for this thing. If you show up to the call, we'll give you a free Starbucks gift card, blah, blah, blah. And it works really well. And then we sent like individual invites to people where we said, hey, first name, I just want to see if you're interested in this thing. And so we sent I created an automation to send out like 5,000 events to people. And to each one, they had their own individual thing. And I said, I'm not going to be available this time, but if you want to book another time, you can book on my calendar here. And I was able to get booked calls almost as good as like email. It was like almost the exact same as email, yet it was free. You could send almost unlimited, and it was amazing, right? Now, Google actually updated their policies, and they changed the thing where basically if you try to invite somebody, it counts as an email. If you send too many emails, you start going to spam. And so it was kind of crazy that I kind of changed Google with that. But that's a way of thinking about it. Just, okay, how do we think outside the box? No one else was thinking about that, but scammers were, because they have to think ahead of the game. They have to think, okay, how could I get somebody's attention, right? And so everybody else tries to fit themselves into the mold of what is everybody else doing? Let me just do what everybody else is doing, which doesn't work. I need to look really perfect. I need to add photos to my email. I need to have buttons, whatever. I need to make sure I don't sound weird, whatever. Everything needs to be grammatically correct, whatever. So usually I try to do the opposite of all those things, because I get way more replies doing that. Cool? All right. Now, we aren't trying to scam anyone, but we're trying to do as little as possible or as much as possible to get someone to respond, right? So this is normal, which doesn't work, right? So you also don't want to care at all what people think. If someone starts saying, stop emailing me, stop texting me, whatever, we know that at least we're doing something right. We know that people are actually responding. Now, obviously, we want to adjust the message to try to get it to work, but don't worry about, you want to make somebody mad by noon every day. Okay? If you're not making somebody mad by noon every day, that means you aren't marketing effectively. Okay? So, all right, your cold outreach message. Now, the old way that I used to approach this, my other video, was intro, offer, call to action. Now, it's not that this method doesn't work anymore. It does work, but my philosophy has changed a little bit after writing thousands of scripts. So let me show you what this method was in action, right? I've been trying to find your profile forever, LOL. Just thought I'd ask you something. If I said I could get you featured on Entrepreneur Magazine, would you be interested? Or shameless way to start a conversation, LOL. But I can fill your yoga studio to max capacity in 30 days. Open a chat. You don't have to pay me anything up front, LOL. All right. And so like this yellow is a hook, which we'll talk about later. But these still work. But I'm going to break them down into frameworks instead of intro. So I used to say, this is like an intro, but I kind of see it as like a framework, which is slightly different. So let me show you what a framework is. So a framework is just how we approach the message and how you position the offer. I didn't really know what it meant by positioning the offer, but I'm going to show you exactly what that means now and how it works. And so you can do it in several different ways. Now, this is the main way that people think that you should approach the offer. You should just say, or actually people don't think this way, right? But this would be the easiest way to get an approach, right? I want to sell you marketing services. I think you'll make a lot of money, probably $15,000 to $20,000, and I want you to pay me $2,000 per month, right? That would be the basic way of selling something. Now, obviously, that probably won't work too well because it's just me. I want you to give me money, right? But a different way of doing it would be, hey, can we partner up, right? We're approaching it from a different angle. I'm not trying to sell it to you directly or trying to approach it from the side. Or I want to see if you're open to hiring, right? So we can kind of sell them something as, hey, I want to be a contractor for you. I just want to see if you're open to hiring me at all, right? So that sounds completely different than pay me money right now, So let me put this in a language you can understand. No chow mein here. You deliver. Wrong place, right? That's from that Bean movie. Anyways, all right, this is Nuke Town. If you have no clue what this is, I'm sorry, you're irrelevant, and you should click off the video. No, I'm just kidding. This is a Call of Duty. So this is a video game I used to play growing up all the time, and this is one of the best maps because it's so simple, yet everything works so well together, right? So, as you know, in Nuke Town, if you don't know, Call of Duty is a game where you just shoot each other and kill each other, whatever, and you respawn, and you just keep going. Whoever gets the most points wins. Cool? Now, there's obviously several places you can go on this map. You can go up here in this window. You can come out of here. You can go into this bus or this truck, and you can shoot people everywhere, right? But you want to make sure that no one kills you from behind. You want to make sure that you're killing the other team, all that jazz, right? So there's never one way to play this game. There is no one right way, and that's the thing that people think about. I have people coming to me all the time where they're like, Carson, if you just tell me exactly what I need to know, I can give you exactly what you need to do. But if they say, I just want the one thing that's going to work for me, it's going to make me $10,000 a month, I always get that. And there is no one way. That's the thing. There's several different ways. It's like asking on Nuke Town or playing basketball. What's the one style that's going to get me the most amount of points and that's going to help me go to the NBA? There's no one way, right? There's several different ways of doing it. It also depends on your style, how tall you are, all this stuff, right? Or factors. So there's no one way of playing this. You could either be a sniper up here, right? Which we can snipe everybody down here. We have to be careful of this guy up here. So we have to make sure that he's not going to snipe us too. And this guy can also snipe this guy, or he can look at everybody that's down here as well. We could be this guy that goes all the way down and around, and we can go into the other team's spawn. So they're spawning here, and we can kill them as soon as they spawn in. But sometimes they go into the house, and then they come around, and they get us from behind. So we have to check our sticks all the time to make sure that we're not getting killed from behind. We can also be this guy, right, which goes right here and plants himself at this car. We can get anybody that comes through here. We can get anybody that comes all around here. We just have to be careful of some guy, if he's camping right here, that he won't kill us there, or somebody that comes from the garage and we just kills right here, or some guys, sometimes they camp right here and then they pop out and they kill us right there. So we have to be careful of things, but there's several different ways of playing. We can either go into their spawn, we can camp here in the middle, we can camp up at the top here at this house, we can come out of the garage. But what you'll never do, what you know that you should never do, is you should never go straight through. We should never go from this front door to that front door, straight through the truck, right? Because we have this is just like a 2v2. This is 4 people on a team, right? Or 2 people playing. Usually there's 6 people on each individual team. So as soon as I walk out of this door, there's 6 people looking for me, right? And they're all looking towards the center. And if I just go straight towards the center, obviously that's not the right approach because I'll get killed instantly, right? As soon as I walk out of this door, people are on your back. So we want to be careful. That's why we approach it all these different ways. Cool? It's the same way we would approach frameworks, so how we do cold outreach, okay? Hopefully that makes sense. All right, so I'm going to get into some of the frameworks. Here's one I really like using a lot, partnership. Hey, first name, I know this is random. I want to see if you could partner up. I've got a system I'm using that's getting me 6, maybe 7 pool installs in August and I want to see if I could send some of these leads your way and we work together on some of these leads. Can I call you in 10 minutes? Now, I like this framework because it's we're selling it as a partnership. It's a system that we're using together. So by the time they hop on the phone call, they're like, okay, how does it work? Like, how are you going to give me these leads? You say, so how the system works is basically I set it up for you. You'll do all this stuff. It costs $2,000 one time, and we're going to do blah, 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 right? Now, something about the call to action, I'll get into this a little later, but here I say, can I call you in 10 minutes? You're obviously not going to say this on Facebook or on LinkedIn because you're not going to call them in 10 minutes. And usually they don't respond immediately, whatever. But you can say this on SMS and sometimes email because the call to actions are different depending on the platform. Cool? All right, this one's just the exact same thing. It's just saying, can I work with you? So, hey, I just know it's random. I just want to see if I can work with you. And then the same thing, right? Huge offer, then risk reversal. This is the only time I would mention some sort of guarantee, and it works sometimes, not all the time, okay? Hey, First Name, I can set up a system for you to send 10,000 cold emails per month, one-time setup, no recurring fees, and if it doesn't work, I'll pay you $3,000. Open a chat. So I actually use the script and work really well. It works better on social platforms, not as well on like texting or emailing. Sometimes on email it can work. And the reason for this is there's no real intro here. We just go straight to the offer. It's crazy end result, 100,000 emails, which if you don't know, that's a lot of emails sent, cold emails. And a one-time setup with a risk reversal. So a lot of times with this system, people, they have to pay per month, right? When it's a lot per month, it's like $500 a month usually. And so if I say, hey, it's a one-time setup fee, then it sounds a lot different than everybody else, what they're selling. So it's a unique value, which we'll get into later as well. And if it doesn't work, I'll pay you $3,000. Now this is different from what we talked about before, where we said guarantee, because the guarantee before was, I'll give you your money back, which means I have to give you money. But if I say, hey, I'll give you $3,000, that sounds like there's really no risk involved. Right now, I never actually had to give anybody $3,000. How it worked was, you pay me $3,000. If it doesn't work, I'll give you double your money back, which is $6,000, but I never had to do that. So I usually would never say price unless it's a unique value as a part of your offer, which is it's cheaper than everybody else. Next up, I already have the end result. Hey, First Name, I've got 12 people in Phoenix that might need a pool install. I want to see if I can send them your way. You're free to chat this week. Now this one works for most industries. Most people understand that you don't actually have 12 people that you're just selling some sort of marketing service, but they do respond positively to it. Now, if you get on calls, well, people are saying, okay, where's my leads? Yeah, send over the leads, right? And you're like, no, that's not how it works. I mean, I'll set up the system for you to get leads. That's why I usually changed it to a system. Hey, I've got a system that's getting me 12 people in Phoenix. I want to see if I can implement that system for you. So then when they ask, okay, well, how's the system work? You say, how the system works is it's blah, 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 pay me money. Cool. Awesome. Asking a question. Hey, First Name, if I said I could bring you 12 bed bug heat treatments in Miami, could you take them on? Or hey, First Name, if I said I could bring you 12 bed bug heat treatments in Miami, would you be interested? So either of those work pretty well. It's pretty simple. Sometimes it can be a little saturated. A lot of people use this one now, but it still works pretty well. Asking for a job. This one's actually very interesting and does work very well. Okay. Hey, First Name, I want to see if you had any SDR positions available at company. I've been working with other software companies, getting them appointments using my direct outreach strategies. I want to see if you were hiring at all or had any room on your team. I'm local to Indy. Let me know. This is like the actual message that I told my girlfriend to use, and because she wanted to work at a software company in Indianapolis. And guess what? She's sending this message, and guess what? She's getting responses because I'm the best. All right. So an actual message that's actually working. I've actually tried this for myself as well. I sent like 28 messages. I got 6 people interested out of 28, and you can send 30 a day, right? So we get 6 people interested a day with a message like this, and I send it on LinkedIn. Now, someone I know is also testing Zaglin or Quanco. He's testing sending job proposals or like applications to people, like actually just applying to jobs on LinkedIn, and then you can sell it as like, hey, I'm not looking for a job, but I will be your contractor, and that's kind of working well for him. I'm not trying to give away his strategy there, but that was working well. So something else you can try too. All right, if I were you, this one worked pretty well. I didn't test it too much, but it did work well for me. Hey, First Name, I think you should get on YouTube. It's working well for me. It's getting me like 300 calls a month, and I want to see, and I think it would work wonders for you, right? Again, I was just testing this. It's just giving a suggestion and giving also I didn't even have a call to action, but a suggestion plus social proof. So, hey, this is what I would do if I were you. I'm actually using it, and it's getting me a ton of calls. Would you be open to chat, right? Now, I didn't even have, would you be open to chat? I just said that's what I would do. And then people were really interested after just sending that message. So just testing something. Hey, First Name, I'm just testing the software that I built. It's helping me get 12 to 15 new pool installs every month. And I want to see if I could test it with your company. Can I call you maybe tomorrow? Seems like there's less risk when I just say I'm just testing something rather than I'm selling you something. And it's just a different approach, right? So it kind of sounds like a free trial, which works pretty well. Can my friend reach out? Hey, First Name, can my friend message you about a partnership? He's just using a system that for other massage spas to get them consistent appointments, and he wanted to see if he could contact you. Can I send him your contact info? Now, this is a little bit different. You'd have to send from a different name, obviously. So you'd send from, hey, this is Emma Smith, and I want to see if my friend can reach out to you, Karsten. and you go from there. It's a little weird, but it can work, and I've seen it work pretty well. Cool. Research. Hey, first name, I've done some of my research. Okay, wait. I ran some numbers, and by the looks of it, I think I could help you save $21,947.96 on your next year's tax returns. I want to see if we could call sometime this week. So like, hey, I did my research. I think I can help you save 23 hours a week based on this, or I think I can help you get 15 more pool installs based on these numbers. Would you be open to chat? So it's hit or miss depending on the offer that you're pitching, but it can work pretty well. All right. Interview. Hey, I'm writing an article for this blog that I'm writing or that I'm creating about videographers. I want to see if I could ask you a few questions about life as a videographer. It'll only take 15 minutes and I'll buy you coffee. You free early next week? So this one works really well for saturated niches. Some people are doing, hey, can I write an article for you? Some people are doing, hey, can you join my podcast? Or hey, I'm just trying to do some market research. I want to see if I can ask you a few questions. You're getting them on the phone, talking about their pains and their problems, and then you can fix their problems by selling them something. I made a video on like how to get calls in 10 minutes or how to book 10 calls in literally 30 seconds, something like that. I have a video that you can watch just explaining the strategy. Cool. And there's several more that you can use. Hey, can I invest in your company? Hey, I created a website for you. I want to see if I can show it to you. I've been watching your content long and I love what you do. I want to see if blank. And some of these are specific to different offers, obviously, but you can create your own and do all that jazz, right? And if you want me to help you create a script, that's a part of my program. Cool. All right. I also have this swipe file of all the different frameworks that you can use. You can check out this swipe file and look at all of these, right? So just everything that I just said in a Google Doc that you can use. Cool. Just something to note. Awesome. Let's go back here and go to the next one. Offer. Okay, so that's the framework. Now, how do we make sure that offer sounds good enough to where people actually reply to the offer? So realistically, we want to make sure our offer is short and easy to grasp. Also, we want to make sure that people actually want the offer. If nobody really wants it, then you just have to offer something different, okay? So for example, 2-day free shipping, very short, to the point, one-click purchase, 4-hour work week, delivered in 30 minutes or it's free. These ones work extremely well, mostly because we have a specific time frame and it's the exact end result that I want. I want delivered in 30 minutes. I want my pizza as fast as possible, right? I want to work as least as possible, right? I want 2-day free shipping. Very short and easy. People have pretty short attention spans, so we want to make the message as short as we can so we can get to the point, and we want to display our offer and the value of our offer within as few words as possible. And we also want to speak their language. The more specific you make the offer, the better. Now, let's just say you're a marketing agency and you target literally everybody. You can create websites for everybody. That's okay. But if we make an offer specific to staffing agencies or to pest control companies, it sounds a lot better. So if I'm a marketing agency, I would say, hey, pest control company, I can get you 10 bed-bug heat treatments, right? I think I get into this. Hang on. I've went through thousands of offers, and a lot of them just say, I help businesses do blah, 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 which obviously doesn't work. No one is going to respond to that, especially if you're doing cold outreach. So out of the 2,000 offers that we went through, me and my team, only 180 were specific, which is good news for you because no one's doing the actual work. So here's some offer swipe files. This is just like all the offers we went through and all the ones that were actually good. And so here's all the ones that were specific. You can kind of use these and adjust them to what you're doing. Obviously, you might not be helping full-time basketball trainers scale with automations, but you can kind of use, okay, how can I use that worth? Maybe I help accountants create their own accounting firm, and be able to create their own automated accounting firm, whatever, right? So different ways you can approach this and a whole bunch of different offers that you can use that we thought were pretty well. So there's also another swipe file I'm going to give you in a second, but again, we want to speak their language, specifically call out to that audience in our offer. Instead of saying, I help pest control companies get more leads, we could say, be more specific and speak their language. I help pest control companies get 10 bed-bug heat treatments without Facebook ads or Home Advisor. So after me talking to about 30 or 40 pest control companies, when I was first starting, I realized that a lot of them want to work with bed-bug heat treatments because they get paid a lot of money. It's very easy for them to do. They just set up a machine, they leave for 6 hours, they come back, right? And then also they've tried Facebook ads in the past, they didn't really like it. They tried Home Advisor in the past, they didn't really like it. And so if I say, hey, I'll help you get the end result that you're looking for without the pain that you experienced working with all the other guys that you worked with, they're going to be really interested and open to responding. Cool? Also, you want to talk in terms of end results. Now, before I used to say no one cares about anything but the end result. And now I realize that that's not entirely true. People do want the end result, but sometimes they care about the mechanism you use to get the end result. So for example, just in this message, 10 bed-bug heat treatments. Now, if I said 10 bed-bug heat treatments, people might be interested. But if I say 10 bed-bug heat treatments through Facebook ads, they're like, oh, I tried that in the past, and I don't really want to do that again. And so the mechanism is the Facebook ads, and they don't want to use that because they've tried it before, right? So sometimes the mechanism does matter. Cool? So we've all probably heard people talk in terms of benefits and not features. but for a long time I didn't really know what that means, so I'm going to explain it. A gym will show you the dream outcome of, I want you to get shredded, I want you to be fit, I want you to be healthy, right? That's the benefit. And the features would be the equipment they have, or do they have a pool, or what kind of hours they have. And for some people, some of these features are actually important. Like I want to go to the gym at night usually, or and I want it to be less crowded. So I have 2 gym memberships. One is for the YMCA, which is usually crowded all the time, but it has a basketball court. And this other gym that doesn't have a basketball court, but it's open 24/7 and it's smaller and there's less people that go there. And so I choose which gym to go to depending on what my needs are that day, right? I want to go play basketball today, or I want to have it quiet and I want to do it after 9 p.m., So now before I overcomplicate the offer, before you overcomplicate the offer, I'm going to show you Alex Hormozi frameworks. You don't have to use all these things, but this is just some things that he said, and I thought they were good at the time when I made the script, which was a couple years ago. So I'm going to give you a few things like make a magnetic reason why. You don't really need to do that. Announce the avatar that is necessary, usually like saying, hey, I help pest control companies, Giving them a goal, specific number, that's usually pretty good. Interval, as we saw with most of the offers, the interval actually was very important, and a lot of the companies that we saw had an interval. And then people value short time frames, so I want to try to make it shorter, and then complete with a container word like a mechanism, like YouTube ads or a voice notes or using the system. That's kind of the mechanism we want to use, right? Now, the main thing you need to think about is we just want to speak their language, talk in terms of end results, and then make this time frame shorter and remove risk as much as you can. Okay. Now, removing risk just means making it easier for them to make a decision for the client, So if I just said with no paid ads, or you only pay per deal, or you only pay per closed call, right? That would be a lot easier to sell. Anybody would pay for that, right? If someone came to me and said, hey, Carson, I'll get you deals, and you only have to pay me a percentage of whatever I close for you. Obviously, I would say yes to that, right? Because that means like I don't have to do any work. You're going to bring me deals. I'm going to make money, and I'm going to be happy, right? So if that was your part of your offer, then that would be really easy for someone to say yes to. Obviously, everybody would say yes to that. Now, obviously, that can't be the case all the time, but that kind of removes risk. Or if I said, hey, I already created a website for you. I want to see if you're open to looking at it, right? Or, hey, I just want to see if I can be your personal trainer. You only pay me per pound that you lose, right? So you pay me $3 per pound, right? I'm like, oh, that's actually a really good offer. I just made that on the spot. You're welcome. All right, offer frameworks. This is other offers, frameworks that you can use. I've got so many tabs open. I'm not sure if my video is running slow because of that. I think we're okay. All right, these are just some other things that you can use. How to get the desired result without challenge or fear. How to get the desired result through the system. Like how to get 10 roofing jobs through Amazon ads. How to get women's addresses through Tinder notes. I know that's a little weird. I actually got that from somebody. Women's addresses just means like how to actually book an actual date through voice notes on Tinder, which that's a pretty unique mechanism. The system is Tinder voice notes, interesting. How to lose 30 pounds in time, or how to get desired result in time, right? So all these are different offers that you can use, that you can adjust to whatever you're doing. Cool, so that'll be in the description as well. All right. You'll get much higher reply rate if you create offers that no one else has heard before, so having some sort of unique value, which we'll talk about in a second, and if we remove risk, which is going to be my next point. And you might be scared to create like these really good offers with these huge promises, but you want to stand out from the crowd. If you don't stand out from the crowd, you're just going to be commodity like everybody else, right? Again, how do we scam somebody? Which is how do we create the best offer possible, and then how do we lean it back towards reality? So in my message, I used to say, again, if it doesn't work, I'll pay you $3,000. Now, I don't want to pay anybody $3,000. How do I actually do that? Well, I can offer double your money back guarantee. I charge you $3,000. If it doesn't work, I'll pay you back $6,000, but I know it's going to work every time, or at least the people I'm going to sell to, I'm going to make sure that works, So anyways, and you have to do the work, right? So if we say, hey, I'm going to guarantee I'm going to lose you 50 pounds, or I'll pay you $3,000. Well, you actually have to follow the diet plan. You actually have to do exercise every day. Obviously, if they do that, they're going to lose weight, right? And so if you don't follow the diet plan or do the exercises, then I can't give you your money back. Well, I'll give your money back, but I can't give you double your money back because you didn't follow your word. And so I can't, follow through on that. So in that case, obviously, we can create this crazy guarantee offer, which is I'll pay you $3,000 if it doesn't work. And now we can lean it back to reality, and they're still happy with the offer, right? Now, a good exercise is to say, if I could wave a magic wand and I could deliver anything for a client, what would the offer be, right? And to me, it'd be like actually booking appointments with one click. If someone could literally just click a button and an appointment would pop up on their calendar that was an interested prospect, how would I do that, right? Or how could I create that offer? So I used to say that, hey, I've got a one-click appointment system because it sounds so easy. We're like one-click purchasing. I got that from Amazon, right? So, all right. Or if the government allowed you to make any claim without any repercussions, what would you say? Or if the government said, hey, we're going to chop your head off if you don't get everybody to respond to this message. How do I create the message? If I needed everybody to respond, how would I say it, right? Unique values. One of the biggest triggers in copy is curiosity, right? And that's a way to add a unique value. And a good system that I have for booking appointments. I can get like 10 appointments for literally free, and it only takes me 2 minutes to do. Now you're curious, like, how do you actually do that? And I'll tell you at the end of the video, which is the teaser, LOL. One of the best ways, of creating this really unique value is just creating curiosity. Now, an instant way of creating curiosity is just play opposite day. So unique value comes from curiosity. Curiosity comes from the opposites. Now, the news does this all the time. You will never really see in the news a dog bit a man, right? Because that's pretty normal. That kind of happens, even though it's kind of news, it happens frequently enough to where it's not really news. But if a man bites a dog, that's a little interesting, right? Why is a man biting a dog? And if a man eats a dog while it's alive, okay, that's really weird, right? And so that's going to be in the news. Or if it's a 3-foot alligator, like, okay, that's a little smaller than an average alligator. But if I said an 18-foot alligator, I'm not sure if that's big. I'm pretty sure that's really huge. Then that's news, right? So what's the opposite? What's abnormal, right? What is contrast to the consensus, right? The average. So this offer here, I've got a system that books you 10 appointments per week for free, and it literally only takes 2 weeks to do, or 2 minutes to do, sorry. The way we make this abnormal is saying for free, and it only takes 2 minutes. So the consensus is, the average is, it's hard to get appointments, and it takes time, and it's just expensive. So I flipped it on its head. It's free, and it's fast, right? And it's easy. We can make something that's hard into something that's easy, something that's expensive into something that's cheap into something that's expensive. And it will instantly create a better offer. So I'm going to give you some examples here. We have the $21,000 first class plane ticket, right? Or $1 house $1 hotel room versus $1 million hotel room. I sold my house for $1, right? Something that's expensive turning into something that's cheap. Or the $12 McDonald's burger, right? Which is something that's usually cheap, which I now, based on inflation, this is 7 years ago. Now inflation, that's a normal burger. So kind of funny, but anyways. All right, vehicles and mechanisms. As I said before, some people want to buy something based on the feature, actually, like not just the end result, but sometimes I want to choose this gym because of the hours that it has. For example, if you reach out to solar companies and say, so I used to actually do this. I would reach out to solar companies and I would say, hey, I can get you more solar jobs, right? And the only thing is that they get reached out to every single day, people saying, hey, I'll get you more solar jobs, right? They receive that message so much, and so that it's kind of saturated, right? And so everyone is offering Facebook or Google ads. And so I try to do something different. So I was offering, hey, I'll get you more solar jobs. And then I would hop on the phone with them and be like, how does it work? Okay, it's Facebook ads. I'm like, I've tried that in the past and I don't really want to do it again. So I thought, how could I change this? And I realized a lot of times when I talk to people, they would say they like the traditional methods of marketing. And so I thought, how do I do this, right? So the traditional methods was door-to-door sales or like passing out flyers, right? And so I created a message which was towards what they actually wanted, the mechanism that they wanted. The mechanism was getting more solar deals through door-to-door sales. Now, again, it is the exact same end result, right? We're going to get more solar deals through Facebook ads, through your website, through SEO, or through door-to-door. But they wanted door-to-door because that's just, I don't know, they wanted that more, right? Because that's what they were familiar with. So I created this message. I've got a canvassing team in city, and I wanted to see if you're open to us knocking on doors for you and sending solar deals your way. Would you be open to chat? Something around those lines. Now, canvassing is just door-to-door sales. So I started sending that message, and I booked a ton of calls. And so many people were interested in that offer. I literally had people just calling me and say, yeah, send over the contract. I'm ready to get started, right? I had no clue how to do this. I just sent the message just to see if people would respond. And that's the whole thing, right? You want to try to sell it first, then figure it out, right? So if I say, hey, I'll get you 10 solar jobs with just a canvassing team, I have no clue how to do that. But we just want to see if people are interested first before we start. Because a lot of people I see, you guys will create a website, you'll build out a huge, crazy offer, and you don't even know if people actually want it. Or now you're going to target med spas and nobody, or e-commerce brands. It's really hard to get any e-commerce brand to respond or a med spa to respond. And so why would you even do that? But I would, again, sell it first and then figure it out. So I try to sell it first. And I got all these people interested within the one day just because I changed the mechanism. So it's the same end result, but changing the mechanism to door-to-door sales teams. Cool. So different mechanisms you can do. I can get you 10 bedbug heat treatments without paid ads. Sometimes just saying without helps you a lot. I've got a system to send 100,000 cold emails a month, one-time fee. Usually it's a monthly recurring thing, right? I think you should go on YouTube. It's going to be 300 sales calls a month right now. YouTube is the mechanism, right? So it's a lot different. And now if I said, I'll help you get on Twitter, or I think you should get on Twitter, that's going to sound a lot different because I don't really use Twitter. Maybe I should get on it, or maybe I just don't like using it. Maybe I'm on it, but I haven't heard anybody do that. Maybe I should actually do that. Right? Or I tried Twitter before, it didn't work for me. And this guy is actually, it's working for him. Maybe I should try it again, And so if I said Twitter, it's going to sound a lot different to a completely different audience, right? So if I start sending people how to do SMS outreach is going to be different than how to do cold email, because they're like, a lot of people, oh, I've tried cold email in the past, it didn't work for me. I used to hop on calls, people say, I tried cold email, it didn't work. I say, yeah, because it doesn't really work very well. You should try LinkedIn outreach. And then people I would talk to, they would say, I tried LinkedIn outreach, it didn't work for me. So I said, yeah, if I were you, I would try Facebook, right? And so I would just give them the opposite of what they tried before, because it's a new, different mechanism. And sometimes it's like exercise, right? There's all different types of gyms. There's boxing gyms, CrossFit gyms, Orange Therapy. So there's so many different types of machines or plans or diets, and they keep coming up with them every single day because they want to make it sound like this is something that you haven't tried before, and maybe this will be the thing that gets you to the end result. Maybe this will be the thing that helps you lose those 100 pounds, you know, because you've tried everything else and it just doesn't work for you. And it's not your fault. It's the machine that you were using or the strategy you were using. Really what you should do is keto, because keto is blah, blah, blah. It's all the same. It's all just work a little more and eat a little less. They're all the exact same. And it's like the same with playing Call of Duty. All you got to do is kill the other team, right? But there's several ways of doing it, you know? All right, so we want to make it to where we sound like a different thing every single time. So if I say, you know, I bought a treadmill desk, or sorry, a desk treadmill, so the thing that goes under your desk. I don't want to buy a regular treadmill because those are usually more expensive and it doesn't fit. It's going to, you know, take up a lot of room. I can't have that room in here, you know? So I want to do a treadmill desk, or desk treadmill, whatever, because it fits right on my desk and it fits my needs. So that's kind of a different mechanism. It's not just a regular treadmill, you know, or an in-home massage, right? Or a penthouse apartment, right? In-home massage is like, oh, I want to go somewhere and then get the massage. That takes some more time. If you just come to me, that'll be, you know, faster for me at least. A penthouse apartment. There's obviously thousands of apartments, but there's only one penthouse or only a couple penthouses. And so I want the penthouse apartment, right? That has a completely different value from just apartment, you know? So if we can approach it in a unique way, have a unique mechanism like a deep tissue massage or Thai massage, right? They might buy it just because of the unique thing. Now, usually people in any given industry, they'll buy multiple things, right? They'll buy 10 things within that industry. Usually in the self-improvement space or the health and wellness space, they'll buy 7 to 10 things, like 10 to different machines, like exercise equipment, or 7 to different diet plans. So if they've already bought one before, that's usually good, because that means they'll probably buy another one. So if I say, hey, you bought this thing, but have you tried this thing yet? Because this thing works a lot better, right? And then that works really well. So that's why we want to come up with a unique mechanism that they might have not tried before. Cool. All right, call to actions. Now, call to actions and hooks are pretty easy. I'm going to talk about hooks too, which is kind of like something you can add to the end of the message. They're pretty easy, but most people miss the importance of them. On social media channels, we want to have a little more subtle call to action. On SMS, email, cold calling, you want to have a more direct call to action. Let me show you what that means. The reason on social channels you want to have a more subtle call to action is because people are more open to a conversation. So we can just get into our foot in the door and have a small talk, and so it's very little commitment. So for social channels, we want to say, would you be interested? Or if you're interested, are you open to chat? Or can I send over a quick video? Right. That's for social channels like Instagram or LinkedIn or Facebook. Now for SMS, email, cold calling, we want to have a little more specific call to action, because people don't really like going back and forth on email. Right? No one says, how's your day going? Oh, it's going good. How's your business? Oh, it's really, no one does that on email. We want to try to get to the end result as quickly as we can, which is the call that we want them to have, you know. So what I say is, are you free to chat sometime this week? Or can I call you tomorrow? Or can I call you later today? Or tomorrow work better? Or can I call you in 10 minutes? Can I send over my calendar? Just book whenever you're free. Here's my calendar, right? Something like that. I usually try the first 3. Mostly those work a little better. Hooks are something you can add to the end of the message to make it seem a little more compelling and just to try to get them to reply. You can also use them as follow-up messages. Hook twice. Mike Tyson. All right. You can use them as follow-up messages, like a message you can send the next day, stuff like that. So here's some examples of hooks that we created. Can I call you tomorrow? Or I'll just call you tomorrow, right? Or you only pay if you feel like it's worth it. You don't have to pay me anything. If you reply, I'll literally pay you $100. Or if you reply, I'll give you pizza rolls, right? These are just funny, but you can come up with some ones that will get people to reply. And also you can kind of sometimes use these for subject lines. Are you from city? I think I am in love with you. All right. Take the blue pill. You don't respond, and you go back to normal. Take the red pill, and you'll see how far company name can go. That's actually a good one. All right. So some hooks that you can use. Awesome. Next up. Last thing is we usually want to create a family of offers. What I would do is create that, that whole document of all the different swipe files I gave you, just create like 5 or 10 of them, right? Just use all 10 of them, apply your offer and all 10 different scenarios, and just see which ones you like. Take 2 or 3 of those, and then just try those first. And if those don't work, try the other 3, right? And then if those don't work, try 3 more, right? It should work, honestly, within the first 3 scripts, because all these really work well. And so I wouldn't be showing you if I actually I have tested all these and they all did work well. So just create a family of offers, spit out whatever you think is what is best, and then just pick what you think you'd like, right? Or pick what you think would work best. And always reread your offer. If you stutter while saying the offer, then you want to rewrite it. Now, obviously, I'm terrible at reading, and so I will stutter all the time, but that's usually good because most people are like me and they read on a 6th grade level. And so we want our offer or our messaging always to be at a 6th grade level. We don't want to use however or furthermore. We're not going to say that, right? Because obviously no one really uses that in their day-to-day speak, and most people can't read. That's why we don't want to have the message too long. If it's too long, then it's all like come up together and it just like looks confusing, and therefore I don't want to read it. Right? If someone sends you a page, you don't want to read that page, right? You want to open it and you want it to fit right there. They don't want to have to scroll to read the message. Do not ever do that, right? And if it is longer, we want to space it out, like to where it's like 3 separate paragraphs, where it's like, hey, I just want to see if I can ask you something. Space. I want to see if we can work together on this thing. Space. Can I call you this week? You know. So making it easier to read. Awesome. 6th grade reading level is what you want to work towards. That's literally everything I know about creating a cold message. I hope this helped you guys out. If you want a system to consistently get 120 sales calls per month, you can book a call with me below. I love you. I'll talk to you soon.